Hello, YouTube. Genesis chapter 3. There's a lot that comes from Genesis chapter 3. Our whole system, satanic system, that is in this world. I said our system. It's not the Christian system. It's the world system. The whole world system is based on Genesis chapter 3. And I'm going to point something out to you. Starting in verse 1. Now the serpent was more subtle than any beast of the field which the Lord God had made. And he said unto the woman, he's going to ask the woman, do you know the will of God? That's what he's going to ask her. Watch. He says, yea, hath God said, ye shall not eat of every tree of the garden? He's saying, you think you know the will of God? This is the woman's answer, verse 2. And the woman said unto the serpent, we may eat of the fruit of the trees of the garden, but of the fruit of the tree which is in the midst of the garden, God has said, you shall not eat of it, neither shall you touch it, lest you die. Then what does the serpent say? Verse 4, and the serpent said unto the woman, you shall not surely die. He's saying, you don't know the will of God. He's saying, you're not going to die. You're wrong about knowing the will of God. She said you would die. He's saying you don't know the truth. You don't know the real will of God. So verse 5, he tells her his version of what the will of God is. For God does know that in the day ye eat thereof, then your eyes shall be opened, and ye shall be as gods, knowing good and evil. So he's saying, you think you know the will of God. But reality, what you need to look at is your own progress. That's what you need to look at. Your own human progress. So he's saying that morality comes from human progress. Can you see that? Now, there's a person, a very famous person in the United States, that he said that we have to keep the faith in the progress of man. And if we lose that faith, then we lose our moral compass. That's what he said, word for word. You know who said that? Barack Hussein Obama. When he received the Nobel Peace Prize, he gave a speech. And that's exactly what he said. He said, if you think you know the will of God, then there will be no restraints. In other words, he was saying, if you claim you know the will of God, then there's nothing to keep you from being immoral. Isn't that what the serpent said here? Serpent said, you will not surely die. He was saying, God's keeping something from you. He's saying, I know the will of God, and I'm going to tell you what it is. It's a progress of man. He's telling Eve, you have to have faith in the progress of man. You can be your own God. Now notice, the President of the United States said the same thing that the serpent said in Genesis chapter 3. That's a big deal.